Well, there's something very interesting that happens in Goa. It's the first state to do it. It's called the sports policy. Every student that participates at school level, district level, and then state level, and goes on to play for the international level, like Talasha Prabhu from Goa, she swims. They get certain amount of marks. So this has sort of boosted a lot of participation in the state for sport. And you see, like where sports like kabaddi and sports like taekwondo would see a small turnout. Today you're seeing a big turnout. So now that you know of this concept, now that I've told you about this concept, do you think it's something that could be applied around the country? Because you have roamed the country a lot, obviously.
I think there is already a campaign. I'm a part of this campaign. It's called Marks for Sports in association with a news channel. And we've gone and spoken with a lot of schools to try and encourage parents and children to want to be part of this. Because today parents will not want their children to do anything which doesn't help them get a job. Education is driven not to learn, but to get a job. So I think at that level, unless and until you can give a carrot, that look, there is something to be gained by being in sports, nobody's going to come forward.
Gul, it's very sad. You see some sports persons then in the country like those. We heard about the footballers which rocked the nation. They were cleaning a stadium in India, somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, if I'm not mistaken. It's a little sad then, because sports people who are honestly playing even for a football club, like you cannot imagine a player from Vasco Sports Club tomorrow doing that at a stadium here. It's a little sad then, because as you were just saying, apart from cricket, no other sports getting any kind of attention.
Because I think it's a vicious cycle, because no other sport gets attention, no other sport has followers, and success is measured in money. And today, if you either, the only way you can make a lot of money is if you're a cricketer. But there's also something called glory, and in order to be part of that glory, the government needs to support you. So maybe winning a 400-meter gold medal in the Commonwealth may not make you rich like a cricket captain may, but it'll get you glory. But to get that glory, you need government infrastructure to support you. So there are two things sports people world over vie for. It's always glory, and then of course money at some level follows them. But the glory is being denied because you're not giving them an infrastructure. Someone once said that a scientific study was done that to produce a medal, I'm not even saying a gold medal, you need a 3 crore investment in each athlete. So if you're looking at 40 medals, that's 120 crores of investment. We'd rather we spend it on refurbishing existing stadiums which don't need refurbishing. We'd rather pull out paved roadsides and repave them again because the contract needs to be done again, but we will not spend that money on the country's athletes.
You feel that, it's a very valid point, a very crucial point that you're also making. Money needs to be spent on the athletes and not just the infrastructure.
Infrastructure and the athletes, it's married together. I'll give you an example. Today, as a state, Haryana state has the best athletes in India. Do you know why? Because there are about 8 to 10 sports centers in Haryana which are open to the public and to, of course, athletes to train at. Those sports centers have AstroTurf, 400-meter tracks, football fields, basketball courts, tennis courts, squash courts, free for the public. Now, is there a wonder then that Haryana is topping every sport in the country? They are doing to their athletes what China is doing to their athletes as a country.
So I think Haryana's model needs to be applied.
Yes, the investment. Haryana is a rich state. The amount of investment Haryana has done in sporting infrastructure is fabulous, and you can see the results. I train at one such facility in Chandigarh, and it makes me feel so proud that there is somebody who's spending that kind of money, and it's open to the public.
And then things like national games and all, I guess, will improve the situation, because when national games comes to a certain state, it sort of boosts the infrastructure. Your movies is something that we should also touch on. You don't do too many movies. I guess you get asked this in all interviews. You don't do too many movies, but the last we saw from you was Turning 30. Very interesting, very nice topic. Anything more on the anvil, and why doesn't Gul do so many movies? Because
if I did so many films, then I'd just be doing films for the sake of doing films. I think for me to be able to be part of films that I enjoy and I would like to be a part of is more important than just doing a film for the sake of doing films. So good scripts and something that challenges me is always very important.
Turning 30 is something that I watched, and even though I'm a boy, I liked it because it touched on a few topics. I watched it with my sister, so she found it weird that I was watching it, but nevertheless a good movie. Movies like this tend to enthuse youth today. This is being my point. Do you think there's a need to make more such movies? I remember asking Ashutosh the same question at summer 2007 when you had come for IFFI 2008. Do you think such movies need to get made more than the masala movies that happen?
I think films are primarily an entertainment industry initiative. And unless and until people find something entertaining, they're not going to watch it. And while one can expect films to address things that are happening in society, it doesn't always happen. And eventually, films do well because people like those kind of films. And if certain films don't do well, is because people don't like those kind of films. Whether or not the films that are being liked are good for the society or bad is something that we can't decide. It's a business, and you can't expect producers to make losses just to make films that need to be made.
But somewhere down the line, more sports movies, as a sports buff myself, and I think from you too, the sports buff in you wants more sports movies?
I definitely want more sports movies, but remember, films are a depiction of society and a mirror to society. You can't show in a film what doesn't exist in reality. If there is no sporting culture in India, what are you going to show? I mean, there is. Iqbal, of course, showed the journey of a boy who wanted to play cricket for India.
And that's cricket again.
But again, it's cricket, right? So this goal, and there was, of course, Chak De about hockey. But these are smaller films. We could perhaps have more films if we had more sporting legends and more people that people could identify with as heroes.
Well, what can we look forward from you in the coming months, in the coming years probably? What projects are you looking at?
Well, I'm keen to do films that excite me as an actor, which bring out my complete potential as an actor and give me satisfaction as a creative person. And apart from that, one wants to keep pushing the cause of fitness in the country. I think India is a country that's going to have the highest number of diabetes cases in the world. And a lot of them are reversible. And it can be arrested, but we just need to be a nation that gets fitness conscious. I mean, I look around, all I see are today, are people whose girths are thickening. And it doesn't need to be that way. People don't know the kind of food they eat. We were a poor country where we would eat a lot of food because we were doing manual labor, whether it was breaking stones or whatever it was. Today we still eat the same food, but we don't do that labor. So our food habits haven't changed, our lifestyles have changed. We still eat the same kind of food that a laborer will eat to break rock on the street.
And we're having a sedentary job.
So we have to, as a nation, really make a change. Otherwise, I believe 50 million cases of diabetes are going to hit India, like a slap. So I think fitness is something that I would really like to devote my life to, apart from, of course, my career. And I think it's very, very important that we should sort of focus on fitness a lot, ingrained in parents and teachers and students at an early stage.
Well, it's been a real education chatting with you. There's so much of information we learned from you about Haryana. Being a sports reporter myself, that really enthuses me a lot.
Check it out.
I must. And yes, the sports movies, probably if there's a better culture of sports, then more sports movies will follow. Thank you, Gul, so much for coming here and having this chat with us and gracing this event as well. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, Nikhil. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Gul Panag for you. We hope you like this chat. She was here in 2008 and one of our anchors, Danushka, had interviewed her as well. So we hope this has been like a sort of a follow-up to that interview. From video journalist Sushant Pearl, sports reporter Nikhil Pereira says thank you very much. Goodbye.
Let's count it down for 2011. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Awesome, awesome.